At the end of the calendar year of 2010, there's a leading talk radio host, Michael Smerconish. He's known nationally, and he named my son the most notable news personality in Philadelphia in 2010, above professional athletes, the mayor, and so forth. And my son had a very profound comment when he was asked, you know, how did this lawsuit affect you? And he said, it's not my whole life, it was just a small part of it, and I'm glad that it's over. And he was praised as being a very low-key, wasn't, you know, bragging or, you know, taking advantage of his notoriety. He was on Good Morning, we were on Good Morning America twice, we were on the CBS Early Show twice, we were on the CBS Evening News once. We had many other media offers that we turned down. And he just said, you know, I want to do what I have to do and just go to college. You know, I don't want to be caught up in this whole thing. That's why we settled the case and didn't go to trial.
He just wanted to put it behind him. But I noticed that he's very low key anyway and very quiet. But I feel he's definitely has more fear. He's still in the school district, exactly, and he said that he has to face the vice principal, who he knew viewed his pictures and didn't know, you know, we don't know what was in the other 10 days worth of pictures. We don't know those. We know what was in the first 6, we don't know what was in 10, so we don't really know what everybody saw. But he said when he sees his vice principal in school, he has a pit in his stomach. He's embarrassed. Yeah.
So there have been some news stories recently about individual owners of laptops and the laptops have been stolen, and they've used software like this to send around pictures of the people who stole the laptop and know the location. And actually, people will send it out on Twitter, and strangers to the individual who stole the laptop will go and track down the person and have actually retrieved the laptop. So society sees some value in this kind of thing. What do you think? Should there be any general rule coming out of your experience that schools should fully inform, or should they not use this kind of
I feel that
technology, or what kind of approach that would be better?
I think the best approach is there's GPS that can just track the computers that are ever lost. I don't believe that they should ever turn a camera on because it could always be misused. So I just stick to the GPS is my belief.
Could you explain why? I mean, some people might say even GPS is outrageous. Why should the school district know where my son is with his computer? He's at grandma's house, or you know, at the shore. Why should the school district be able to know where my child is?
I agree with that too. I do agree. I think that it is a luxury to have these computers. So I think it's valuable, but if they have to have a system, well, they don't really need a system because they have insurance on these computers. So I don't believe they need anything. But if the school district is going to use anything, the GPS is the way to go.
So what else has changed in terms of the school district? I mean, you just mentioned that now students have to sit through a class explaining,
right,
what their responsibilities are and what might happen if they try to steal the computer or something like that. But I mean, pretty clearly, there was a complete absence of any kind of reasonable set of processes governing how all this happened. Are there processes now? Was anybody actually disciplined for any of this?
No, there was
No one was fired. They were put on paid leave of absences, the people in the tech department. We sat through their depositions, and it was very unusual that the head of the tech department, when she was asked, she was put on leave of absence right after the lawsuit was filed, and when they asked her if she had her own personal home computer, she said yes, she was going to donate it, she wasn't using it, and that she sent the hard drive out to be purged the day after she got home on a paid leave of absence because she was going to donate it to a charity, of which my attorney asked which charity, and she says, well, I haven't decided yet.
Right.
And there was a lot of skepticism. People were guessing whether she may have downloaded pictures of child pornography onto her computer. It was very, very strange. And when her subordinate was asked, did you see any nudity, he said, I don't believe so. He
Right.
didn't give a clear-cut answer.
That was during the deposition.
Yeah, but we know the way young kids use their computers. I have a 15-year-old daughter, goes to the same high school. My daughter, every time she's going to get dressed, she gets in front of the web camera, takes a picture of herself, shoots pictures off to her girlfriends to have them approve her outfit. She takes it to the bathroom with her, the shower. I mean, the computer goes everywhere. And if you know anything about the way young people use computers, you would have to think not only twice, but 3 times about a program like this one. You will capture inappropriate images. You will capture incriminating inappropriate images.
With 66,000 pictures, I don't believe that they didn't have pictures of nude students.
I'm astonished that nobody lost their job. How can anybody justify this behaviour? These are people who work with children, and they're supposed to have a duty of care. They're in loco parentis, they're illegal. You know, I'm coming from a British background, but obviously it's the same with
Right.
school. And yet, here they are, looking at indecent images,
I agree.
observing indecent images on purpose, and calling it a soap opera.
Exactly.
No. You know, what can be done to get these people removed from their positions? They're dangerous people.
I think if
They
there
have a
was...
very strong teachers union in the community.
Yeah, but teachers' unions have principles about codes of conduct. The union should expel members of its own ranks who contravene the proper code of conduct for a teacher. I'm sorry, unions do have really strict codes.
I was very disturbing to us that especially the vice principal was not fired for her conduct.
You know, it is outrageous that your son should have to face this woman.
Exactly.
It's an interesting footnote. My attorney was preparing to file the lawsuit, and the night before it was actually filed, we didn't know which day it was. My wife said, maybe we should wait a couple weeks or a month, because I don't know if I really want to deal with this right now. And I said, okay, I'll call him in the morning. And the phone was ringing at 4 a.m., my home phone, and it was the London Daily Telegraph calling, asking for a comment on our federal lawsuit. They were the very first call to come in because of the time difference.
Well, because in Britain, somebody like that would be absolutely torn to shreds.
Yeah,
by the press.
I agree. We were very disturbed that nobody lost their jobs. And when there was 2 of the tech people were on a paid leave of absence, I was sure that they were not going to be coming back again. I was really surprised. They did come back, they just put them in a different position.
No, they're in the same position.
They were in the
Yeah.
same- I was
And
unaware.
they make
of that.
about $100,000 a year.
Right.
So is there anything you can do?
I'm hoping, that's what we're hoping to try to work with Congress to try and change the laws. I think if the laws were stronger, they would have had to have been fired and lost their jobs. Right?
Or prosecuted,
Right.
more important.
Exactly, more important, exactly.
You know, I teach privacy law, data protection law, and I have a textbook in the area, and I can tell you, you guys would have won your lawsuit. The Pennsylvania invasion of privacy law is on your side. I think the federal communications laws are on your side. There might have been a question or 2 asked, but you would have won your lawsuit. This is a situation in which, because I believe there was no criminal wrongdoing found, people kept their jobs. The mere civil wrongdoing was not deemed, I think, grounds for losing a job, even though we can all agree how outrageous this conduct really was.
Right.
I'm sorry, there's a question over here first.
I was just going to ask, I assume as part of the settlement, there was no admission of fault?
No, in fact, they even made a very snide comment after they said that they were going to settle with us. The head of the school board said that we look forward to a trial so we could tell the untold story of what really happened, as if we had some culpability in all this. And we just send our kid to school, and we end up, dealing with this as if they were totally innocent of anything.
Right.
And because of that, my liaison, Michelle here, is putting together, and I don't want to say too much, to tell the story. There's a very strong possibility that a movie is coming out of the whole story.
I would like the whole story to be told.
Can I pass this over to you?
Well, we are working on a movie, I believe, to tell the Robbins story. We think once the public at large hears the entire story, I also live in Lower Merion, my son attends the same school district. And so through the movie, a lot of the issues that came up, and I think from a legal point of view, the attorneys, the justice system, as well as the administration and the schools and the unions, I think once the story is completely told, I think people will have a different opinion about privacy and when these cameras should be turned on. GPS, I think, is fine. The cameras, I think if the cameras are stolen, yes, it is a luxury. If they're turned on one time and parents know that it will be turned on, as well as students, if it is stolen, okay, you know, the computers cost a lot of money, but I think it's inappropriate after that one instance for the camera to be turned on at any time after that. So we hope through this movie that the public at large, nationally and internationally, people will become aware of electronic spying and how our rights and our privacy is being invaded, whether it's just spyware that's downloaded onto our computers or adware. There's a lot of this going on electronically, and so we think that this is an important story, and that the Robbins did have their rights violated as a family, and their children, and the trust of the children in technology that they use even more than we do as older adults. I mean, you know, the kids nowadays are using computers from the time that they're, 4 or 5 years old. So I think it's an important story that should be told.
I have time for one more question one more question.
There's a write-up now on Wikipedia about the case. Does that annoy you? Does it annoy your son? Is it accurate?
No, not at all. I think it's good that the general public should know what happened. It's a very good Wikipedia article, and it came out very quickly. In fact, my son came out of his first period class the day the lawsuit broke, and the kids were running up to him saying, "Blake, there's a Wikipedia page about you. Your parents filed a lawsuit." And they just kept expanding on it, and I've read it dozens of times.
It's pretty accurate.
It's fairly accurate. There's some different things that aren't, 100%, but 99% is all fact.
So, in summation, as we worry about the great privacy giveaway of our children being overly networked, we have to worry about the great privacy takeaway about authorities and government's willingness to invade the privacy of young people. And hopefully we'll someday get this right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.